This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building a cool-looking and professional website. Today, my house hunting adventures in Italy have brought me to a new stunning city whose beauty has few parallels. I've just pulled in to Orvieto, city built on a cliff, basically a promontory, where we'll explore not only its unique artistic and architectural heritage. So let me now head up the escalators. But also stop by some of its best food establishments to indulge in delicious local cuisine. I want to show you that Orvieto's cityscape is about much more than just its famous cathedral. And naturally, I found two beautiful dream homes for sale to tour. The first, in a tranquil hamlet right outside town, and with views to die for. So even when you're just coming up into the city via the escalator, you can tell that it's all been carved out of stone. Tufo, it's called. And the second home is right out of a storybook. A 2-unit country home converted out of a medieval watermill, but with views looking up to the promontory of the city. This is going to be special. Andiamo. So we've made it up to the top of Orvieto. I can already see glimpses of extraordinary beauty, not only of the views below, but also of the beautiful facades and the style of homes that I'm seeing around. Orvieto has been highly requested as a place to explore for dream homes, and I can see why it would be an appealing place to live in. And so we're here, we're gonna explore the town. We're starting at Porta Romana, one of the main entryways into the city. So let's go see Orvieto. The city of Orvieto, population 20,000, rises dramatically among the green rolling hills of southern Umbria, a strategic point connecting Tuscany with the road southwards towards Rome. At the very center of town, we have the Torre del Moro, a clock tower which marks the borders of Orvieto's 4 historic neighborhoods, Sarancia, Corsica, Stella, and Olmo, all of whom proudly march their banners in the annual medieval procession of Corpus Domini. At the city's heart, we have Piazza della Repubblica, one of the main city squares. It's right off the main shopping street Corso Cavour and has some beautiful architecture to admire, including the Palazzo Comunale, the town hall, but also the 11th century Church of Sant'Andrea, who has a unique 12-sided bell tower built only in the 1920s, and of course a gorgeous romantic interior. Next stop, Cathedral, but first, some breakfast. First stop for breakfast, obviously when we're always in a new city, I like to take you to the most historical pastry shop, even if it ends up being the most touristic one. The most touristic ones are touristic ones because they're famous, because they are historical, and so it's the snake that bites its tail. However, this place has some very nice specialties from Orvieto, which I'm excited to try. Let's go in. Montanucci, in its 100-year history, has become a staple for the local Orvietani. When you walk in, you'll be greeted by displays chock full of delicious pastries. They know their stuff, but they're actually famous for a specialty of another variety: cakes. Lots of delicious cakes. So they bought me the breakfast for today. The typical pastry that they make here is actually cake, and it's called torta di semolino. It's made with semolina flour, and it ends up being this flaky crust with a chocolatey filling and a creamy layer under that. They serve it with whipped cream and powdered cocoa on top. And I got this with a marocchino. Marocchino is kind of a mix between an espresso, cappuccino, and hot chocolate all together. So there's a layer of chocolate, a layer of coffee, some milk, and some milk foam on top. And of course, powdered cacao on top of that too. I want to give a shout out to and tell you about Squarespace, today's sponsor. They're an online website building platform that lets you build beautifully designed websites with zero programming experience. You start by choosing one of their expertly designed templates, beautiful for whatever activity or project you have, or you can use their Blueprint AI, a state-of-the-art AI technology that builds a website for you based on the input you give it. It's so easy, you can have your first draft up and running within 5 minutes. Then personalizing it to make it your own is just as easy. You can drag and drop your own pictures onto it, use some of their stock images, and then change the color palette, change the font, all to fit your marketing needs. So head to squarespace.com/JustDreamItaly for a free trial and use my code JustDreamItaly to get 10% off the first purchase of your website or domain. So I've made it to the main landmark of Orvieto, its symbol, its beautiful Duomo, this cathedral. I think it has one of the most beautiful facades of any church in Italy, perhaps one of the top churches in the world in terms of its beauty, especially the exterior here. I know we visited the churches of Siena, of Lecce, of Syracuse, for which I remained completely with my jaw on the floor. This is another church just like that with the beautiful rose window, the spires, the mosaics, just the detail with which it was done. It makes you wonder what was going through their minds? How did they do this? Could a church like this be built nowadays? It can't, and that's why it's such a marvel to admire. The cathedral is a masterpiece of Central Italian Gothic architecture. When you're in Orvieto, you have to enter inside. You'll be greeted by a corridor of marble Renaissance sculptures of the 12 apostles and the 4 protector saints of the city. Then, peer upwards to marvel at the stained glass windows, starting at the unreal central rose window from the facade. The experience is ethereal. The main chapel at the back, known as the Presbyterium, is completely covered in frescoes from the 13 to 1400s, depicting scenes of the life of the Virgin Mary. The side chapel of San Brizio, painted by Luca Signorelli of Renaissance fame, is without a doubt a masterpiece within a masterpiece, with scenes depicting the apocalypse and various heavenly choirs. So if you're like me and you like etymologies, Orvieto has an interesting one. It comes from the Latin urbs vetus, that is, old city. Urbs is the Latin term for city, from which we also get the word urban, and vetus is old, from which we get the word veteran. And so every time you hear the word Orvieto, think the veteran city. Made it to our location for lunch, Al Pozzo Etrusco. Orvieto was an Etruscan city back in the day, and it remains faithful to its Etruscan origins. This is called the Etruscan Well because we have the famous well here nearby, and so I'm expecting very typical dishes. Maybe not 3,000-year-old dishes, but some local ingredients and some really genuine flavors. So I always joke that the restaurants that have their own branding on their wines, you know that they're legit, right? So this is a Sangiovese from the area of Orvieto. Tastes really good. Very fruity, very strong.
Allora, avete 5 tipi differenti: olio e sale, pomodorini, melanzane, peperoni e patè di pollo. Queste sono tutte salse che facciamo noi.
Okay,
grazie.
Grazie. All of the cold cuts are of cinghiale, so wild boar. We have a bresaola, salame, mortadella, and kind of like a capocollo. And this is a homemade focaccia with rosemary and olive oil. So, buon appetito.
Allora, i tortelloni.
Sì, per me. So this is our primo. It's tortelloni filled with chiana beef. So it's a beef filling, a radicchio sauce, and with flakes of Parmigiano Reggiano. Should be interesting. Very strong flavors on this plate. So radicchio, it's either you like it or you don't like it. It has this bitter taste, which renders the sauce, it's very complex, let's call it. I think it really blends well with the canina beef inside, which is very umami as well. This is a spectacularly made plate. So this is me being courageous. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I've never had tripe. Now I know tripe is a typical dish of many places, including Rome, Orvieto, even Portugal. I'm aware of there's tripe, the Porto style. So I'm aware tripe is very common in some places. However, I haven't had the courage to try it. Today is my first time. It does remind me of eggplants. The taste is very neutral, so it just kind of soaks up the flavor of the tomato and the pecorino. Approved. I think it's good. So we're in a little village called Rocca Ripesena, and we're on a hill overlooking the valley with on the other side Orvieto. So this is really old village. Everything is built in this type of volcanic stone. All of the homes, all of the facades, you can see it's really picturesque. But what you have up here is extraordinary views of the valleys and of Orvieto. And that's a characteristic which we'll see of the home that we're going to visit. So the home is located in this village. I'm going to give you a little peek here and then take you to the home just to kind of give you an idea of what this beautiful little place is like. So you obviously would have to drive up here. And you can already see, but we're not far outside of Orvieto. This must be like a 10-minute drive or so. And you're here. This is called the Village of the Roses because all around, all of the neighbors, all of the houses and facade have rose plants outside. And that's a coordinated effort by the village to do so. And there's just this really beautiful effect here, just a quaintness which really just makes you feel like you're in the past almost, surrounded by olive groves, vineyards in the valleys and hills. And the home that we're going to be seeing isn't this one, it's behind me, but I want to show you what we have in front of it first. This is the village chapel, the village church. That's the village cat. Well, you'll see hangs around and is eating insects as we speak. So he's the pest control. Here we have some gorgeous, gorgeous views. So this is the home, 215 square meters. The asking price is 315,000 euros. It's 2 floors, so it's this whole home, right? You're attached to another home on that side, but then you're basically above the valley on this side. Beautiful balcony here. There's a balcony on the bedroom on the inside as well. This has been renovated, and very, very recently. You can still smell the fresh wood that was used during the renovation. And so it's key in hand, right? Turnkey property. You don't have to do anything. And it's just very, very special location out here in Orvieto. We'll start on the ground floor. So I chose this home for 2 reasons. First, the breathtaking views. Second, the state of maintenance that it's in. So we'll enter in the ground floor and you'll see immediately. This is renovated in 2022, so just a few years ago. The floors are terracotta, ceilings are wood, and we have the beautiful details of the revealed stone on the walls. This is tufo stone, so that same stone which is from the quarries on which Orvieto itself is built, right? So this is the main living room, let's say. You walk under and you are entering into what is the dining room kitchen area, both kind of equal size and both of the same style and the same quality finishes. So you can have a look at the ceiling. What I really liked about it are the light fixtures, which blend in perfectly with the wood and those white beams going across. Regarding the kitchen, you have white cabinets all blended in with smooth surfaces, new Indesit stovetop and oven. And at the other end of it, that door is the downstairs bathroom. So this is the small bathroom, let's say the guest bathroom, with a toilet, a sink. No bidet here, but we'll have that upstairs if you're interested in that aspect. Around this corner, you'll see we also have a door coming directly into this dining room, but we have gorgeous stairs going up. I really like how they've included these metal rods, letting lots of light come in between each step as opposed to closing it off entirely. I think it's a very nice touch. Going up the stairs leads us into the hallway, giving you access either to the left or right of this first floor. And on the right, we have the bedroom number one, let's call it. Very spacious. I love the ceilings angled up with the wooden beams kind of holding it all up, the revealed stone on the back wall, but another full door in glass, letting in plenty of light. So you can open this up and it brings you onto the facade of the property and this beautiful balcony. And of course, this is where the views start. So you have the close views of the village. There we have the church, the chapel of the village. And you turn slightly to the right and you can start seeing the beautiful rolling hills of Umbria, of southern Umbria, with vineyards, olive groves, and forested areas as well. So uh, gorgeous. We had a nice sunny day. The sun did come out later on, and I'm glad because of that. You can see the other homes in the village all have revealed stone on their facades, and so does this one, which we'll see. Despite the plastered and painted front facade, of course, redone in the 2020s. Here we have the upstairs bathroom. So this is a full bathroom. I really like the finishings with the wooden floors, the white tiles on the wall. Everything is kind of this white tanned color and really reflects the luminosity of the property very well. And right around the corner, we have bedroom number two. So the ceilings of this bedroom are the same as the other ones, slanted downwards with the two beams going across. But here we have a window looking out from the front facade. And this is the very special view, which we didn't have from the other one because of that tree to the left. This is of Orvieto, a beautiful view of the entirety of the city right from your bedroom. And then another full glass door letting you out to another sort of balcony. And you can see here the sides, the hills that you have around the village. So let's head back downstairs. So we'll head back down. There's this whole ground floor. What I didn't show you on the way in was this one. This little storage space here is also part of the property, but it's not only a storage space. This was the old oven. You can see that there in the back of the village. And that's still a functioning oven for making breads, pizzas, things of that sort. Still functioning, very nice to have. And you walk around on this side. This is where you have the beautiful valley views. But we all have this useful space under here. Let me just show you the side facade a second, just to show you how high the property is, because there's still lots of useful space down here. So this is that side facade. You can see it's been plastered on the front, but the walls are all made of this stone, which we see revealed on the inside, right? So let me show you up here. You have two storage spaces here for the basement, one of which, the center one, can be renovated into more living space. Let me show you right here. This is the vano tecnico, you call it, so you have like a heat pump in here and storage space. And then, oops, on this side, is the basement. So lots of space here. Where we're on the ground floor, I believe. You can see these are the floors. Below the floors, on that first floor, on the ground floor. It's hard to name the floors when you're on properties like this sometimes. And this goes all the way in the back here too. So if you wanted to, you can renovate this into something that you can live in, like a bottom studio one bedroom. Come back out. And on this side we have more closet space. You can see that there. So we're done with property number 1. Not done yet. We still have to go to property number 2. All right, so for this second home, we're right under Orvieto. That's Orvieto up there. That's like the big promontory that it's built on. In this little valley with a stream running below, the second property is spectacular. It's something very, very special and at a very, very unique price point. I'm saying very a lot, but it is a superlative property that I'm very excited to show you. The asking price is 295,000 euros. 2 separate apartments, but they're joined, so they're in the same property. And lots of square meterage, I think around 300. You'll see in a bit. We'll start here on the outside. And so that is Orvieto up there. You can see it's a wide angle, so it looks farther than it really is. We have here, this is where you park, so you pull in. There's my Fiat Panda, and you park right there. And we just have this gorgeous, gorgeous view onto the stream. So I was told this property is a mill. It's a historic mill which was in the Gregorian census. Now, if you don't know what that means, Gregorian refers to Pope Gregory, the same one who invented Gregorian chant. And so that's the year 800, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 700, 800 AD. And this is the stream here. So this mill was existing at that time in this place. And that just means we're in a property with a lot of history. This is a unique location right under Orvieto, surrounded by green. Let me show you this side. So this stream runs year-round. Even in the summer, it doesn't dry up. This is the property. So there are 2 homes. There's 4 apartments, let's say, in this building, in this old recovered mill. And I'll show you the 2 that are for sale. Let me just give you a better look here. This is part of your property, huh? I mean, obviously the stream doesn't belong to you, but it's within your terrain. So this is what we have here. Apartment number 1 downstairs. Apartment number 2 is upstairs with that door. So we'll start with those, but I did want to show you here around back. This is the other facade. Upstairs and downstairs. And this is already somebody else's apartment, right? So there's 2 more apartments and they have access here in the back. This is spring water. So this is fresh water that you come and fill up your bottles with and have 100% natural water whenever you want. And just gorgeous views down below Orvieto. Wow. So we'll go back around this way. You can see palm trees all around. At the end of the tour, I'll show you the terrain. So we'll cross that stream and I'll bring you to the terrain. Go back here to the facade and I'll take you, let me just give you a peek first into this little gem. So this is storage space. This isn't the living property, but it belongs to the sale. And it's a charmer. You can see the ceilings there with the ridged vaults. And we don't have too much light here in the back, but you can see you can have a conserve di pomodoro. So you make your passata of tomato and you store it there. in the bottles, store your wines, and great, lots of storage space here. And let me bring you now to the property, downstairs property. It's apartment number 1. So this is the smaller of the two apartments, though still very spacious. Both of them were renovated toward the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, and remains in excellent condition. You can see by the walls, the floors. The walls are very nice. These are called voltine, so little vaults running from front to back. And so this is the entry room. To the right, we have the bathroom, the entry bathroom with shower. There was no lighting when I was here, unfortunately, so I couldn't turn that on. Take note of the doors that we're going to be seeing in this downstairs property. All beautiful 100-year-old doors, very thick, very full of character. Now we enter into the living room, dining room. You can see the thickness of the walls just by the windows. So beautiful arched windows, and you can see the thickness of the walls is probably around a little more than a half meter. And the relevance of that is that the temperature stays very comfortable either in the winter or during the summer. Here we have the Voltine ceilings as well. There is a heating in both apartments, and that can be attached to the communal methane lines. And of course, we've seen a fireplace in this room, so you can create a very comfy vibe. So, very luminous, I must say. The ceilings are high. And that brings us to the back here, and this is the bedroom. So this is a one-bedroom apartment. Once again, the beautiful ancient doors, and very big-sized bedroom, let's say. You can even see the keys are kind of this welded iron. I was obsessed with the doors. I love historic little characteristics in properties. As you come across them in Italy, you'll always find little charming elements like that. We walk around the corner, and that brings us into the kitchen and that back dining space as well. I like this space because of the vault. This is a barrel vault here in the back, and that attests to how old this building is as well. These architectural styles with the vaults harken back to at least 200 years, especially something like a barrel vault on a ground floor. And this was, of course, an ancient watermill, and some documents attest it back to the Gregorian age, let's say. So thousands of years. We don't know when each particular wall was built, but we do see peculiarities of different ages, right, across the structure. This brings you down into a very unique storage space as well. Apparently, this was used as a World War II bunker. And so, yeah, when you have hundreds of year old homes, you have hundreds of years of worth of stories that they contain. So, this was a very beautiful space. I like also how they've carved out that cubby space there on that wall to the right. And this brings us back into the entry room. So we have this little ring going around from the entry room, living room, bedroom, kitchen, and then back into the entry room. So let's head back out. Now let's go to see the upstairs apartment. So whereas that downstairs, I envision it as being a space to be rented out if you buy these 2 units, this upper space would probably be the one you'd want to live in. So here you can see already the stream coming by, this idyllic rustic space, though so close to Orvieto at the same time. This would be, I think, an ideal family home or a home where, for a person who needs various bedrooms, because this top floor has 3 bedrooms, the bottom one was a 1 bedroom. Interesting price as well, 295,000 euros for all of this in such a good location. I think this is a great deal. But anyways, my personal opinion aside, let's have a look here at the property tour. So we walk in, very useful space when you have like an entry where you can hang coats, leave shoes before actually entering into the living space. And that can be separated also by this door, very nice. That leads us into the living room. So immediately walk into like a walk-through living room uh, with a fireplace, which is also very nice. So here they've set it up with like a little table and a big cupboard. Perhaps a nice big sprawling couch would be nice for this area, though, at least for me. When you turn the corner, that brings you into kind of the living area, room number two. So this would be like a dining room and the main kitchen. You can see already the extractor hood is put in place where you would have the stove, the oven, and perhaps to the side of that, a big refrigerator, which currently isn't there. But like I said, this was all done 20 years ago and is in actually impeccable shape for the time that it was made. And I think things done after the 90s, right around the 2000, we start entering into, renovation periods where they start standing the test of time and are still acceptable, let's say, to modern standards. And this one is. You don't have to renovate anything in either of these homes. And so from that kitchen, we enter into the hallway and we have access to the night quarters, right? So this is a main bathroom, bathroom number one, the biggest one. You have a massive rectangular shower there in the back. Very nice. Toilet, bidet, sink. And so this is the main bathroom of this upstairs property. This is also a nice hallway because we have the exposition, right, of the front facade and a light being let in. You can look out your corridor and you can see the whole city of Orvieto up there on the cliff. Very nice. Turn the corner again and we have a bathroom number two. But not only the bathroom, the laundry room. So this is a multi-use space. Goes in as deep as the other one, but it is nice, of course, if you have three bedrooms in a property like you do with this one, to also have two bathrooms. So that's bathroom number two. Turn the corner, and we're now on that side facade of the property that we saw from out back. And here we have the true, let's say, night quarters, the three bedrooms. This is bedroom number one. In each one of the bedrooms, you'll see there's plenty of space for armoires, storage spaces, shelves, and things like that. And you can see out the side here, this is that side of the property that we saw with the stream going around back to that fountain there. And so, very interesting how in a place like Orvieto, you can find properties that are so historic and so beautiful, with lots of space and for like a really good price. We'll head down the hall and see the other two bedrooms, but I did want to mention that even though we're not in the historical center of Orvieto, there is a funicular, a short walk away from the property where you can be right in the historical center in a few minutes. And also just the train station. The train station in Orvieto isn't up on the hill, but is actually down. And it's a 1.5 kilometer walk from here. So that's 10 minutes, depending how fast you're used to walking. And so it's a property which I think is very strategically located. You can walk to the train station, you can walk and go up to the historical center, but at the same time, you're immersed in nature. You have lots of living space. And as you can see from this bedroom, plenty, it's a practical property as well. Perfect for living in, perfect for using as a temporary home, renting out, or even a long-term rental for a place like this. I think this property lends itself to many different interpretations and many different needs. And so I think this is a perfect companion to that first property we saw. Now we're going to head back outside. We'll have a last look here at the fireplace, the entryway. We still have the terrain, the garden to see. Let me now show you the terrain around back. So as we've come back outside, we'll recross that bridge that's going over the stream below. You can see where we park. That's common parking for both your properties, but also the other properties that are part of this water mill complex, let's say. The let's say, very special point about the property is that it includes this special enchanted garden, I'm calling it, because I was enchanted when I walked through it. You open the gate and you have just this splendid green area, truly a garden, which you can tailor to your own, let's say, needs or desires. and right next to this flowing stream, right? So the thing about water is obviously if it's water that's still, you may have like mosquito issues or whatnot, but this is fresh flowing water where you have nothing of that sort of problem. Here, the climate also stays very nice during the summer because with the flowing water brings cooler air with it. You can probably even go bathing in the stream if you wanted to. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but that's how I envision it. And you have all of this garden space to the side of your home. So you can see the home is this old stone, right? Stone from, I said, the 700s, medieval stone. And that's attested to, you can see that ridge going along it. That was part of the ancient water mill. And this is all your land. So you can use this to your needs. You can plant your tomatoes, your potatoes, your flowers. You have plenty of space here if you have animals, children to run around here. And so this is the property. Number two, guys, I want to thank you all for your support. Like, subscribe, comment below. Check out my Patreon if you want to consider supporting my channel and like the work that I do. Where should I go visit next? Thank you again, guys. Ciao. See you next time.